All right, good morning, everyone. This is Damon Mason. I want to welcome you guys once again to another episode of not Football Chronicles. Once upon a time in the NFL, I'm messing up, so I'm gonna apologize. I want to welcome you guys once again to Once Upon a Time in the Arena Football League. It's episode number 5, and I am looking forward to share my heart with you guys. I'm excited. I'm always excited, but I'm excited about this opportunity. I just returned from Florida, which I'm gonna get into that in a second. So I hope you guys enjoy the background music as I check my settings and get everything set up. Actually, my background's not set up, so I'm getting that set up as well. All right, guys. Once again, good morning, great morning. My name is Damon Mason. Welcome to my YouTube video cast. In episode number 5 of Once Upon a Time in the Arena Football League. So, guys, this how can I put this in? I just returned from Orlando, Florida, as I posted on social media, and had an opportunity to go visit the first arena football team I played for, the Orlando Predators. Even was given the opportunity to speak to the football team, which was a great opportunity, a sign of respect, and I was very excited. And I know I say I'm always excited, but I was very excited while I was not a yes. It was great family time. My wife, my 2 sons. My oldest had the opportunity to come once again and hear me speak, but this time hearing me speak to professional football players. But one of the things I left Florida with, as I shared, was a sense of rejuvenation, re-energized, and it's really, to put it in layman's terminology, ready to rock and roll. I remembered, as I often do. This is one of the reasons why I started this video cast. But being back in my element, Orlando Predators was the first professional football team that gave me an opportunity to play professional sports. Many of you guys know my story. Went to the NFL didn't give me the time of day, no type of opportunity. I went to Canada, I got cut. I even shared in episode 1, I think, of how I ended up playing arena football. So I knew we was going to Florida, but what I didn't know was that I was going to reach out to some of my friends who are a part of the coaching staff, Hercules Walls, EJ Burt, Mark Novell, Coach Mark Novell. These were gentlemen who know me very well. I know them very well. They're a part of the Predator organization right now. Even a lot of the fan club members. I reached out to them on Facebook to find out exactly where the team was practicing at, find out the time they was practicing. And I didn't plan that. It just being in Orlando at the particular time in the hotel, just relaxing. And I was like, I think I'm gonna try to reach out and go. I'd love to go watch them practice and just show my face. I won 2 championships with the Predators. As I shared the last episode number 4, was the last championship that the Predators won, and the last championship that I actually played with them. It wasn't the last championship that they played in. It was the last one that I played with them, and we won in 2000. And this episode might be a little bit lengthy because episode number 5 really reflects and revolves around the transformation of me, the transformation of Damon Mason. I can recall sharing you guys my growth and development, from my senior in college, my first 2 years as a professional during the football league, and how I really developed myself into a true professional. But in 2001, because this is about once upon a time in the arena football league. In 2001, after winning the championship in the year 2000, that's when free agency really made its mark in the arena football league. And I guess for you non-football players, if you know anything about the indoor football game, that's when we had the video games. Guys was making a whole bunch of money. And to make this story very short, that was the time I had an opportunity to see my stock raised, to see my value, to see me get paid for what I was worth. But unfortunately, what I got, my value wasn't worth a lot to certain people in Orlando. And I'm gonna be straightforward, and I'm gonna say a lot of different things, but it's all relevant. The conversation I had. One of the things I shared with the young boys, the young men in Orlando, at their practice or after practice, one of the things I shared with them is that I'm sick and tired of a lot of the BS that's going on in professional sports, especially in the indoor game of football. And I got very specific with them. I'm sick of the BS in the Arena Football League, even though it's not here no more, but it's coming back in 2024. I was sick of the BS in the National Arena League. I'm sick of the BS in the IFL or any other indoor football game. I'm sick of the BS because there are a lot of young men who just praying for an opportunity to play professional sports. And unfortunately, there are a lot of greedy people who are in position to have a successful league, but they're all about making money and not about building something the proper way. I'm sick of the favoritism. I'm sick of the, you're bringing people into a game that I love that gave me an opportunity who don't understand the game. And you're bringing in a lot of people who are supposed to be professionals who are not true professionals. And as I shared with those young men, from my heart, if you want something, you have to prove that you're worth it. This is professional sports. People are paying their money to come watch you play. I told them I made $600 my rookie year. I made $1,000 my second year. And The only reason why I say that, I was just grateful. I was so grateful to be playing professional football that I did things because out of pure love of the game, not for more money, not for even notoriety. Notoriety. I did it because I know I can do it. I did it because I did it all my life as a football player, and because I gave my all to the game at an early stage in my career. The game rewarded me. I got paid for producing. And that's the blessing about having someone that, for me, strictly for me. That's when I say, well, again, giving Jay Gruden his props. He did things for me that he didn't have to do. But that was, he showed me the respect because I earned it. Herky Wallace, who's the head coach of Orlando Predators right now, he was telling young guys, he said, man, this kid didn't say nothing. This kid came to practice and gave 110%. He practiced hard, he played even harder, and didn't say one word. And I didn't. Because everything that I had that particular time as a professional football player, I considered a blessing. I didn't have it for 6 months. And I'm saying that to say this, like I say, this might be lengthy, I might be all over the place, but it's very relevant to parents who have young boys who are, or young kids who are playing sports. It's very relevant to young men who are playing any type of professional football league trying to get to a higher level. And I share those young men in Orlando. I mean, man, the opportunity you guys have right now is great. You have the XFL, the USFL League, the campaign, and of course the NFL, and as well as Canadian Football League. But if you want to be a professional, guys, I told them, just because you're playing professional sports, that doesn't make you a professional. What makes you a professional, or what made me a professional, is how I started preparing myself like I was a pro. I wanted to be the best, so I started practicing like I was the best. I started thinking like I was the best. I started walking like I was the best. I started doing things it took to be the best. I didn't wait to become a champion to say I was a champion. No, I started preparing as if I was already a champion. If you want something you never had, you have to be willing and humble to do something you never did before. So, in a sense, I challenged them to do those things. And again, this is very relevant, and that's one of my favorite words now, because in 2001, the change was put in place. It was the first time I left Orlando. Because, and I just thought about this here. I left Orlando for free agency. I didn't want to leave, but I felt like I had no choice. See, one of the greatest things about arena football for me in Orlando, and for many of us, is when it was time to sign our contract, they would call us, Jay and the organization, they treated me from day one, they treated me well, just like, we don't want you to go back to Louisiana, we want you to stay in Orlando. They helped me get not a summer job, an off-season job. They paid for my apartment. My rookie year, I paid my own apartment, but then they started, if you had it in your contract, they'll pay for you to stay in the apartment year round. And I was blessed with that opportunity. So in year number 2 and year number 3, I was staying in Orlando year round. So what happened in 2001, I left Orlando. I went home to go visit. Ended up going to my high school for, it's amazing how everything just interacts. I left Orlando, went home to visit Louisiana. And this is the year. Yeah, this was the year of 9/11. Went to Louisiana to visit my family. Went to a high school football game at my high school. My coach was the principal. Asked me to come be, a good role model to the kids, help out on on the football team, yada yada yada. You got some spare time, man. Come on, be a good role model. So couldn't tell coach no. Ended up getting a coaching job. Met my wife, who was a teacher at the time. How should I say? I met my wife, but I saw my wife for the first time. So a lot of things took place during that time. But what also took place was before I left Orlando, I had agreed in principle and communication that I was going to sign the biggest contract of my career, 90,000. You know, and for those who don't understand arena football, we didn't talk about how much I get paid a year because we didn't play a whole year. We played for 6 months, so that was $5,000 a week. I had made that agreement with them. But while I was in Orlando working, while I was in Louisiana working at my high school, I received a phone call. Several things happened. My coach, Jay Gruden, decided to come out and he actually talked to me about that. And I was excited. Yeah, man, shit, you can still play football. He came out of retirement, and I was excited about that. Him to be the quarterback again. Of course, they had Kenny the Glove McIntyre was there, and I'm not gonna share those guys, the kind of money they made, but I had agreed and left Orlando with the notion that I was gonna be earning $90,000 a year, which is $5,000 a week. And I received a phone call, and our defensive line coach, my boyfriend Pop Sudero, may he rest in peace, passed away a few years after that. He called me. He was a head coach, and he's like, "Well, Damon." He basically he couldn't. He said, "Look, I can't even make you an offer." I said, "Man, you can't make me an offer." He said, "Anything I offer you is gonna be an insult to you and the value that you bring to this team." So, bottom line is, guys, what happened was, of course, Jay Gruden knew my value. All the coaching staff, Fran knew my value. But at this particular time, the Predator organization brought in some new people in the business sense, in the front office, as we would call it. Didn't see the value of paying Mason and McIntyre the amount of money that we were going to get paid. Just like you can't pay both of those guys those money. And just and I don't know how it went down, but I know it would have been easier if I was in Orlando. I could have went to the office and signed my contract. Once you sign your name on that line, it's a done deal. So Kenny had the opportunity to sign his contract, and I don't know how it went, but if I can always think that if I was there and had my contract signed before they brought in these new people who didn't know nothing about football or know nothing about how the M&M boys were a vital component together for the success of the Predators, well, things would have been different. But it wasn't different. I was in Louisiana, so Fran was like, "Look, I don't want to make you an offer because you deserve more than what I can offer you." So, unfortunately, but the blessing at the same time, the blessing was I received 90,000 by going and play in New Jersey. Now that was the first time I left Orlando, and it was, that's why I said I just remembered. I didn't want to leave, but I felt like I was forced to leave, but it was my choice. So I wasn't cut. I left on free agency, and I went to the New Jersey Red Dogs, who ended up changing their name to the New Jersey Gladiators. They had fun. I was a franchise player. We ended up being the turnaround team of the league that year, and I had the opportunity to play against my former team twice. We beat them in Orlando. I had an interception against Jay. He threw a touchdown against me also, and the things I say about Jay, guys, it's gonna be good and some gonna be bad because I want to be truthful. But the love and respect I have for this man, he threw a touchdown to my boy 8-Ball, Cliff Dell, on the corner of the end zone, and I was tired. And I was mad, like I'm always mad I give a touchdown. And we're on the opposite fields in our bench area, and the bond was still there. He looked at me, I looked at him, and he was like, what were you doing? What happened? And I told him I was tired. And he told me, he said he tried to avoid me the entire game. And one is I respect because I was a good player, but at the same time, look, Mason, my boy, I'm not trying to score touchdowns on Mason. And if I do score a touchdown, I won't celebrate. And that was our deal. I won't celebrate. You won't celebrate if I catch an interception. And he was a man of his word. He drew a touchdown. He's like after the game, he's like, man, he's like, shit, I had to throw it. He was too wide open not to throw it, but I was just tired at the time. I forgot why, but I remember telling him I was tired. But I appreciate the fact that he still cared that bond was still there. And we ended up beating them. But then we faced them again in the quarterfinals. Two games before the Arena Bowl championship in 2001. And they played in New Jersey. We were in New Jersey. And I don't remember the score. I know I didn't give up no touchdowns, but I do remember that once again my boy A-Ball, Cliff Dell, caught a crucial third down. It was a great throw by Jay. And they ended up beating us. And I was hurt. Yes, I cried. And they spent more time just out there with me, especially Kenny and Jay, just talking to me. And it's like, man, so that was that. But one of the things that took place when I say the change, when you go to a new team, you're dealing with new coaches, you're dealing with new mindset. And now I won't say no names. If you know, you know. I had some great coaches in New Jersey. My secondary coach, he know who he is if you watch this. Certain people who watching this, they know who he is. I think he's a smart guy. He's a young guy. Smart. Very energetic. He had a whole different philosophy of doing things. And that was kind of hard for me after the success I had in Orlando. 2 championships under my belt. I was a little bit older now, and like I tell guys, and I'm saying this, guys, and I'm gonna give it the public announcement. See, another reason why I'm doing this is because there are a lot of things that happen in our life, a lot of things that happen in my life that people don't know, and I'm deciding to share this here while I have a voice, while I'm still here, because at some point in time, I won't have an opportunity to share this here, and nobody knows exactly what went on besides me or the individuals that are involved. And so anything that pertains to me, positive or negative, I don't mind sharing it. I won't say negative things about a lot of people. But I will say this here. I will share some negative things. I won't say no names. I will say J Group name because it's going to be evident. But between Jay and anybody else, the negative things that I've experienced once upon a time in the Arena Football League, it was all for my growth. And at certain times, I will remind you guys, it was all for my growth. And I think those individuals, especially Jay Group, know that because I just spoke to Jay several days ago. Him and his son, Jack, called me. And we often, every blue moon, we talk. And every blue moon, we might mention some of the negative things that happen. But it's like, hey, man, it happened for my growth. But I'm going to get more into that. So I'm in New Jersey, and one of the things that stood out about me being in Jersey with this young secondary coach, I don't know I think he was either a year older than me or a year younger than me or the same age as me. And I'm going to give him a year older than me. It was hard for me at once to do some of the things because I'm like, you guys wanted me in free agency based on what I have accomplished. Now that you got me, don't try to change me. And I'm still that type of guy today. And I'm not saying that to glorify that. I just tell people when you started learning your value, you know what you're willing to tolerate or willing to not tolerate. And I was just starting to learn about that. But there was my choice to leave. So anyway, we had a very, I want to say we had a great chemistry in New Jersey, which the quarterfinals lost. So it wasn't perfect, but we had a great season. But then the very following year, the team ended up going to Las Vegas. So we became the Las Vegas Gladiators. And once again, keep in mind, once upon a time in the football league. And there was a drastic transformation in the mindset of everything that was built up around this team. That was the last year that I made the All-Arena team. And I was a franchise player. And it got down to a point, guys, where I basically was benched. And I played, but I wasn't starting. Again, dealing with the same coaching staff, some of the same players, but the mindset had been shifted. And out of all the negative things that I experienced in Las Vegas, one of the blessings about being in Las Vegas was that I had family in Las Vegas. My cousin Aubrey Branch and his family was there. I had the opportunity to see my little cousin DeMarcus play basketball. Quincy was doing his thing, with his family. At least I don't know if Quincy was married yet or not. But I had my cousin Nell who graciously opened up her house to me. But just had my big cousin. If you don't know, if you remember that name Aubrey, or we call him BB, he was the cousin that became the agent for me when I left college. So now I'm in Vegas, and I had the opportunity to be with my oldest cousin, the oldest cousin in the entire family. So it was almost like having an uncle, a spiritual uncle like that. So I'm sharing with him the things that I was dealing with, from a negative standpoint, with the with some of the stuff, some of the choices of the coaches, not all the coaches, but again, I'm not saying no names. If you know, you know. But this, even those who do know the names, who know the coaches, the secondary coaches, um, they know what happened, but they don't know what happened. They only know what they saw or what I might have shared with them or what they heard. But one of the main things, I feel like I have to share negative things because as I was raised and my cousin helped reminded me, and I told him, so cuz, it's an opportunity for me to show my true colors. In the midst of adversity, a person's true color will show itself. So even though I felt like I was being treated differently because I went from helping this team become a turnaround team of the year, and just a year removed, another state. Now all of a sudden, I'm not good enough no more. And so there was even conversation. I had to share this because I often share it. And to that coach, I love you, man. I respect you. And we hashed this out a long time ago. But I share this story, coach, because it's all a part of my life, and it's all a part of me helping other individuals to elevate, not just young football players, but young men who are playing professional sports right now. Even at work, coach, I share this here. So I share with them how, and coach might be shaking his hand. He may be mad at me, but hey, coach, I love you, man. I love you. I ain't gonna say your name, but I love you. We was in meeting this day, and this is again about my change. And I'm not gonna go word for word, but I felt like the coach was picking on me. He was calling out things. We were looking at film, and film don't lie. So one-on-ones, I might get beat. Some things I was doing, and everything he drew at me. I'm like, well, coach, one-on-ones, I'm trying stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna knock the receiver down every time, but I'm trying things. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to see what I can, what I cannot do. He said, well, you did this. I would, coach. You know what? Before practice starts, I'm gonna go behind the truck. I'm gonna relieve myself. But then they got to a point. He said something like, "Well," he pointed out something. He said, "See this? He said, look, you're not good no more." And I looked at him right there, and I said, "Look, from this point on, don't tell me nothing else. You have nothing else to tell me." And I said, "Do what you gotta do. Think what you gotta think. But I'm gonna prove you wrong." And I was so upset that I walked out of the meeting room, and I went to the head coach. And I called the head coach was in the office meeting. I called him out. I said, "Coach, that's man, I gotta talk to you." So he walked out. I said, "How do you feel about me? How I'm handling the situation?" Because again, I was basically demoted. I'm the franchise player. I'm demoted. He said, I think you're doing the best that you can." I said, "Well, why is this man doing this? Yada yada yada." So, but then what I did, guys. Now I had to do that because I'm a firm believer. People will continue doing certain things to you as long as you allow them. Now, if you're an adult, act like an adult. If you're a pro, act like a pro. If you're a professional, act like a professional. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. But if you don't open up your mouth, don't expect nobody to open up their mouth for you. And I got to a point where I was tired of my mouth being closed. Because again, I was sheltered with Jay Gruden. You heard what I'm saying? I was sheltered by Jay Gruden in Orlando because I gave great effort and I did everything that any coach would want out of their player, especially on the professional level. And I realized that that and much, much more in this present time. But in order to elevate, you gotta go through something. I wasn't going through nothing in Orlando because I was having instant success. In 4 years in Orlando, my first 4 years, I went to 3 championships, winning 2. But God had different plans. I know that now. Didn't know it then. I know it now. Even when I realized it, I didn't understand it the way I understand it now. So, but most importantly, guys, in Las Vegas, this is what I did. I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna prove them wrong. Yeah, I voiced my words, I voiced my opinions, but I'm still towards this team. So guess what? I still can play the game of football. I'm gonna show you. So instead of me being a franchise player, thinking I'm the best or one of the best in the league, one of the best on your team, instead of me just sitting on the sideline, I'm gonna go on a scout team and I'm gonna go practice against our first string offense. And I'm causing havoc. I'm talking all kind of crazy crap, and I'm having fun. At midnight, I'm going to the gym. I'm working out. I'm getting stronger. Now, one of the coaches, I'm going to share his name because he was very positive to me. All the coaches was positive in it right. Even though I had this experience with this one coach, but I would never share his name. But I gotta give my shout out to Coach Ryan James because he was there. He was there for me through thick and thin. And that's when our bond. That's when my bond with him really, really grew. Because I had one coach that I really could talk to. Not knocking the head coach. I'm not even knocking the other coach, even though because this was between him and I, but it was for my growth, but it was also for his growth. I don't know if I'm gonna share in this episode because I'm already at the 30-minute mark, but trust me, I will. This coach learned a lot, not because of me, but he learned a lot. But Coach Ryan James, man, he told me one day, I'm coming to practice. I'm getting in better shape. I refuse to listen to the doubts of someone else. But again, I've been through this my entire life. But one day he told me, he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing. At practice, he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing. I was going working out at midnight. I would lift weights. I would hit the swimming pool. I would hit the jacuzzi, hit the steam room. And then it calmed down. And this is the blessing. This is the blessing, I think, for both me and that coach, my secondary coach. At the end of the season, toward the end of the season, the last regular season game, something happened. He ended up leaving the team. I'm leaving it like that. He ended up leaving the team. But he called me. Now this man left the team, but he still found it in his heart to give me a call and apologize. He found it in his heart to apologize. And again, as I say, I had the opportunity to show my true colors. I accepted his apology, and I probably apologized for my part in it because I knew I wasn't the easiest to work with. Because in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I've dealt with coaches. I lied. This was my first time leaving Orlando. But this coach, I remember sharing with my teammates this. The coach know of Damon Mason from his accomplishment, but I don't know him like that. So people might not like me, but they know of my value. But then when you have a guy who thinks his value is more than what a coach think it is, but you know what? I'm going to try to bring up a younger guy and teach him to do the things I want to get done as a coach. But the problem is when you bring in a guy in who's not accomplishing the goal that you're trying to set for your whatever you're trying to do, but you got this other guy who's your franchise. In my mindset, this is what I tell some of my young kids today when I share that story with them. Every Wednesday or every Thursday, I'm getting $5,000 after taxes. But in a game, a 60-minute game, I'm playing maybe like 20 minutes. I'm playing a few minutes every quarter. So I'm sitting on a bench. I say, if I want to just be humbuggish, you the fool for paying me all this money and not utilizing me. That's what I was thinking. But if you know anything about Damon Mason, it's not just about the money. I want to play football. I want to play. I don't want to be on nobody's bench. I don't care if I'm getting paid $100,000. I want to play. I want to play. So when I wasn't playing, I sit down on the bench just like this year, relaxing. When it was time to get in the game, I went and handled my business the whole while I was out there. But then it's time to come out the game, went back on the bench every week, collect my check every night when we work out. So at the end of the season, this coach, he left the team. He gave me a call. He apologized. Of course, I won't go in verbatim. I can't remember anyway. But I can remember it was more like me telling him, "Hey, coach, man, look, you got some great stuff, and it's always about how you present certain things, you know." And I won't try to remember everything that we shared with each other, but the idea that he humbled himself, called and apologized to me for how things went down. I probably apologized for my part in it, and we squashed it like that. And I think that actually was the first. That was the first. That game, I developed a secondary gameplay. It was a playoff game against Arizona in Las Vegas, and we played in Arizona. I think we lost that game, but so everything that I was being prepared for in Orlando, as I told y'all before, episode 1, Jay told me, "I'm gonna teach you how to be a coach. I'm gonna make you a coach." And now I'm calling my first defense secondary as well. Along with Coach James, who's our defensive coordinator. He's the D-line coach, but I know he got promoted to D coordinator, and I was running the secondary. But I'm gonna close right there, guys. So that's my experience with the Gladiators and Once Upon a Time and the Arena Football League. So I guess what I want to share in closing, what I want to share is, and there's gonna be a lot more because I promise I won't lose it. Coming from Orlando on this trip and just being around those young men, I kind of shared that to them. Not as long as I shared it with you guys, but for you young boys in high school, you young girls in high school, you young boys and girls in college, it doesn't matter what level you're on. I'm gonna say it again. It does not matter what level of athletics you're playing on. It doesn't matter if you're working a regular job. If you want to elevate, you gotta prepare to do the best with where you are. And if you're a person who have faith in the Lord that I have faith in, how can we pray and ask God for more if we don't be a good steward of what He's given us? You might be at the bottom of the barrel, but guess what? Thank God that He placed you at the bottom of the barrel, because some people not even in the barrel, but you're at the bottom of it. And there's a reason why you're at the bottom. There's a reason why some people go to the top right now. But the best thing I can say is to all you guys and girls, men and women, don't judge your life based on no one else. I didn't judge my life based on no one else, and I can't judge my life based on no one else. But I can't look at someone else's life and get influenced. I can't look at someone else's life and remember my own trials and tribulations. I can't remember my own accomplishments. I can remember my own personal grind. And that's what this trip in Orlando, Florida did for me the past couple of days. And I'm going to share more on that, guys, as I continue to share my story of Once Upon a Time in the Arena Football League. So until next time, you guys take care, be safe, have a blessed day, and as always, peace.